As 2023 comes to an end, I wanted to share with you some market predictions that I have for 2024 and some inside tips for how to win if you're going to be buying or selling in real estate next year. I'm Kelly Allen, and I have been helping people move into the state of Georgia for 25 years, and I wanted to share with you some of what I'm seeing right now and what we could be seeing next year. Let's start with what's happening in the current real estate market. We continue at the end of 2023 to have a low inventory and somewhat low demand market. Sales are down Metro Atlanta wide about 25% over this time last year. Now, sellers are locked in to low interest rates, which has caused fewer of them to come on the market. And there are buyers who would love to make a move, but are waiting until interest rates come down to make that move. All of that has resulted in, again, low inventory and low demand. For those that are moving, most sellers are still getting more than what they did last year. In fact, the median sales price for Metro Atlanta is $430,000, which is up 5.4% from this time last year. So for those sellers who are deciding to put their house on the market, chances are you are still getting your full asking price. However, we are starting to see some seller concessions in terms of closing costs come back into the picture, especially if a home has been on the market for more than a couple of weeks. So what does this mean if you're a buyer? Well, if you're a buyer purchasing right now, you know that you can lock in today's price, which is fixed, and your interest rate is a variable. So you can always refinance when those rates come down, which we'll talk about this later in the video of when that's predicted to happen. What's gonna happen next year? Atlanta is poised to be one of the strongest residential real estate industries for growth in the US. As we continue to shift back towards a hybrid work situation and suburban living, 2024 will continue to be a boom for Atlanta real estate because of all the opportunities in and around the city. In fact, Emerging Trends report just reported that Atlanta was going to be the #1 strongest residential market in the country. Now, what do I see happening? Well, as I pull up my crystal ball, I want to share with you guys that I do feel like that we're going to continue to see prices rise. Now, why is that? Inventory is going to remain low. Although when rates start coming down, we will start to see a little bit more inventory hit the market and certainly more buyers come into the market. That will continue to create that perfect storm of still not enough inventory for the buyers that we have out there. So when more buyers enter the market, we probably will begin to see multiple offers happening again, and that sales price could rise even faster than it did this year. If low demand and low inventory have kept prices rising, then an increase in demand and low inventory will continue to push prices up. If you're a buyer, target your desired area early, because you want to make sure that you expose yourself to every single opportunity in that area as early as possible. Experts are also predicting interest rates will come down to anywhere between 5.5% and 6.5% by the end of next year. Now, 5.5% I think is going to be lower than what's really going to happen. I think that we're probably going to settle around 6.5% by the fourth quarter of next year. Now, when that happens, I feel like as soon as we break that 6% mark, you're going to start to see a good number of buyers enter into the market, the ones who have just been waiting for some type of normalcy. If you're waiting for rates to come down, make sure you know what rate you need to hit in order for you to jump into the market. Let me show you an example. So let's take today, for example. There's a home for sale for $425,000 and you're putting 20% down and your rate is about 7.4%. Now, your mortgage payment is going to be approximately $2,700. Now, let's fast forward to this time next year when it's possible rates could be at 6.5%. However, the price will likely be higher. Let's just take the difference between last November and this November, and let's just say that we increase at the same amount, which would be that 5.4%. So if we add let's just round up to 5.5% to 425, that's gonna put your new sales price this time next year at 446, but your interest rate could be 6.5%. That means that your monthly mortgage payment will be $2,600. So the real question is, In order to save less than $100 a month, what are you putting off right now? Are you putting off a lifestyle that you want for your family? Are you putting off a shorter commute to work? Are you putting off living in so much square footage and just being sick and tired of having to take care of all of it? Are you putting off the need for more space? You guys are squeezed to the max, so you're popping out of your current home and you just need more space for your family. See, I want you to put it in perspective. What are you saying no to so that you can say yes to a monthly payment that could be less than $100 less than what it is now? So let's talk about how to make the buying process work for you in 2024. So the first thing that you want to consider are your needs. What are your must-haves and what are your want-to-haves? Now, I want you to imagine a triangle, okay? So the top of the triangle is your location. What are your location must-haves? A lot of people will think about their commute time to work. A lot of people will think about what they want to live around. How close do they want to be to parks, recreation, shopping, entertainment, schools, things like that. So number one is location. Number two, the second part of the triangle is going to be price point. What is your budget? And then the third part of the triangle is going to be your needs, basically the condition of the property. What are your wants and your needs? So does it have to have a basement? Does it have to have a 2-car garage, or do you need a 3-car garage? Do you need 4 bedrooms, or do you need 5 or 6 bedrooms? Are you willing to do renovations on your own, or do you want it to be completely move-in ready? By the way, the best opportunities in the market right now in Metro Atlanta are the opportunities that need work. The homes that have not been completely renovated and are not the most beautiful, those are the ones that you're going to get the best value on. You're going to be able to make it just like you want it and save money in the process. Now, do you need good public schools? Or are you going to be sending your kids to private schools? Or if schools aren't a factor, then you can take that off the table. Now, another thing to consider is, what is the lifestyle that you want? Do you want a more suburban lifestyle where you're going to pretty much drive to everything? Do you want a rural lifestyle where you want to buy some land and live on it and maybe have a farm, animals? Or do you want to be in the city where you can walk to pretty much anything that you want and you want your commute time to be as short as possible? Those are all things that you need to consider. And the great thing is that you can have any of those things in Atlanta or in Metro Atlanta. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to speak with a local mortgage broker who can help you understand, based on your current financial situation, what are the best loan options for you. Doing this earlier than you even think you should is really beneficial. I've had buyers catch errors on their credit report that's pushing their credit scores down artificially, and we were able to fix those things. Also, the lender and the buyer are able to strategize if they need to save more money, if there's certain debt that they can pay down in order to get the lowest interest rate possible. So now, once you've narrowed down possibly who you're going to work with, or narrowed down to a couple of lenders that you might choose to work with, now it's time to let your realtor, hopefully me, get to work. So I have buyers right now that are thinking about moving in the summer that we're already identifying opportunities for them to see. Because if you think about it, this time of year, homeowners who know they're going to be selling in 2024 know it right now. And although they're not listing their homes right now, because they know they're going to be selling, this is the perfect opportunity for you to get in early. And that's what we do. I get on the phone and I call through neighborhoods. I call other realtors who might know of listings that are going to be coming up next year. And I explain to them, I have a buyer. We're very flexible on time frame. We'd love to give you the opportunity to possibly sell your home easily and early while you still get to stay there as long as you need to. So that is a great strategy, and using that strategy, I'm able to show my buyers on average 6 unlisted properties per buyer. So now you're starting early in your search. Once you identify a property, it's going to be time to write an offer on it. Now, this is where you need some guidance as well. You need to consider how long the property's been on the market. You also need to consider how it's priced relative to what has recently sold in the next 90 days, as well as what's also on the market and what is under contract right now. Now, you're not going to just be negotiating price, you're going to be negotiating closing costs, earnest money, closing date, possession date, anything that you want to stay in the house that maybe the seller has not stated will stay in the house. So once you get through all the negotiations and you hopefully go under contract, you'll have what's called a due diligence period, where during that time, you can terminate for any reason. If another home comes on the market that you'd prefer to buy, you can terminate. If you have an inspection and you're just not comfortable with it, you can terminate. If you decide you don't like the neighborhood, you can terminate. So really, when you make an offer on a property, all you're doing is reserving it so no other buyers can steal it away from you while you decide if you really want to purchase it. Now, depending on what you've negotiated, you might have a financing and appraisal contingency. Usually those are going to run about the first 2 weeks of the contract, but if it was a competitive situation, then you might not have a contingency on those, but that's okay because you're fully prepared for your financing. The lender will order the appraisal that costs about $500, and the appraisal comes back, and closing will typically take about 4 weeks from under contract to closing, and then you'll either get possession at closing or some pre-negotiated time after closing. That is really the process of purchasing a home. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into every step, but nothing is really going to change going into 2024, except for if you're a buyer, you might have some more competition from other buyers coming on the market. Metro Atlanta will continue to be an amazing place to call home in 2024. So if you're looking in the city, or you're looking in the suburbs, or if you're looking for land, now's the time to go ahead and get started. Please click subscribe if you are not a subscriber, and click like if you like this video. Leave me a comment below if you have any specific questions or you have an idea for a video you'd like for me to shoot. Talk to you soon, and Happy New Year.